Over time, we've seen so many athletes leave their countries of origin because they staying with their countries might be detrimental to their career. You can't have a short window in your life as an athlete and then risk it in a society that will crush your chances of, demonstrating your greatness to the world. And that's what we have here in the case of Favour Ofili. She's a Nigerian athlete, currently the world record holder in the 150-meter category, women's track and field. She switched her allegiance to Turkey from Nigeria recently, and people might want to know why that happened. That's one of the stories that we're going to be talking about today. We have another story of a police officer that, after 35 years in service as a police officer with the Nigerian police force, even rising to the rank of a superintendent, he was retired in 2023 and wasn't paid his gratuity, the severance package until 2025. And when that money was offered to him, it was 2 million naira. Very small money. It's not enough to do anything. But that's what this episode is going to be about. And welcome back to the African Wahala. Click on the like button and subscribe if you actually let me wait until the end of the program before encouraging you to do that. So starting with Favour Ofili. Why did Favour Ofili leave the Nigerian Athletic Federations for Turkey?
Diggs in lane 5, Effiong in 8, and Ofili on the outside in 9. And Ofili pulling Diggs along. It's Ofili off of the curve, but now Diggs' 400-meter strength is going to kick in. Here comes Diggs late in the race, but it's going to be Ofili on the outside holding them off and recording the best.
Ofili she switched her allegiance from Nigeria to Turkey for a few reasons, including administrative incompetence as expected, and just general frustrations with the Nigerian Athletics Federation and their method of processing athletes, following up with the requirements of the events that they are competing with, and just showing their lack of competence in as far as managing the athletes. And this is similar to every other facet of the environment where they simply don't manage anything well. And it's intentional. They try to put people in positions where they are forced to beg. They are forced to worship the officials, the administrators of these institutions because it makes them feel good. The athletes are forced to beg the administrators to do the right thing. And if you don't beg and worship these admins, you stand a chance in losing your career. And we all know that as athletes, you have a short space to optimize your career because imagine as a track and field person, it's a young person's game. Favour Ofili is 22 years old. So this is supposed to be the prime of her athletic career. And the Nigerian side is trying to take that away from her because of their administrative incompetence, which is intentional, and their lack of will to do the right thing. That's why you find many African athletes, especially Nigerian athletes, representing different countries around the world, from Oman, Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, many Middle Eastern countries, the United Arab Emirates, And obviously, in the western part of the world, you find many Nigerian athletes representing Belgium, France, England, United States, and all these other countries. Favour Ofili, being the 150-meter world record holder, switched her international allegiance to Turkey as at May 2025, May 31st, due to repeated administrative failures by the AFN, that is the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Olympics Committee. Like I said earlier, the primary reason was due to administrative incompetence, where Ofili suffered setbacks that was as a result of the incompetence of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, where in Tokyo 2020 Olympics, she was unable to compete in the 200-meter event because the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Nigerian Anti-Doping Committee failed to submit mandatory doping control tests to the organizations in time, and that led to her disqualification alongside 13 other athletes. And there was no consequence. Nobody got fired. Nobody had to face a committee to explain why these athletes' dreams were crashed. Forgetting to mention how much money the so called country had budgeted for the athletes in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics that was wasted because the athletes were not allowed to perform. But the officials still traveled all the way to Tokyo for the Olympics, even though their athletes were not performing as a result of their incompetence. If you remember, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics took place in 2021 because of COVID in Japan. And as expected, the Nigerian organizing team, not the athletes, they bunched themselves up, jumped on an airplane funded by Nigeria, went to the Olympics for a vacation, not for the purpose of winning any medals or supporting the athletes, or no, they simply went to have fun because that's how it works in Nigeria. And they're not going to be held accountable for that. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, one of the heads of that committee, Sunday Dari, that was one of like the top, you know, event organizers for Nigeria. He might have been representing the soccer side, the football, Nigerian Football Association. The guy got promoted to become the Minister of Sports after a failed Olympics that Nigeria couldn't even get one single medal. A country of 200 million people only had 55 representatives. 200 million people could only produce 55 people in an Olympic event. And out of the 55 that were presented, about 13 got disqualified quickly before the beginning of the Olympics because the organizers from the Nigerian side did not submit their anti-doping tests as required by the Olympics Committee. Similarly, in 2024 Paris Olympics, despite qualifying for the 100-meter event, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Nigerian Olympics Committee did not register Ofili, and that forced her to compete only in the 200-meter event, where she finished 6th place. So, 2 Olympics back to back. The incompetence of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Nigerian Olympics Committee prevented Favour Ofili from maximizing her attributes. 2 Olympics back to back in a span of 4 years. Remember, this is a young man's game, it's a young woman's game. So, if you're going to be wasting your time and your career in an organization in a country that is actively trying to destroy your career, isn't it a smart move for you to pivot and move somewhere else where you're going to be appreciated. So that's why Favour Ofili left the Nigeria and sided with Turkey. Another reason is her general frustrations with the Nigerian authorities, where Ofili expressed her dissatisfaction with the AFN's, that's the Athletics Federations of Nigeria's, consistent neglect and incompetence to the Athletics Integrity Unit. The re-election of the same AFN leadership in June 2025, despite their failures in the past, definitely contributed to Favour Ofili's removal, or rather rejection of a failed system. So the same people that were in the leadership position that contributed to her mismanagement in Tokyo 2020 and Paris 2024, those same people have been re-elected into management positions of the same failed Olympic organizations at the AFN. So the same failure is going to continue, and more athletes are going to have their careers wasted because they are representing Nigeria. Period. So Turkey had a recruitment strategy where they've been actively recruiting top international athletes, offering significant financial incentives. Reports actually suggest that Ofili might have been offered $500,000 base pay with a potential to earn $1 million upon completing the switch to Turkey. While Ofili clarified to the AIU that her decision was not financially motivated, which makes sense because she. Okay, let me just keep going. I don't need to explain that. That's her conclusion. Her decision to switch from Nigeria to Turkey was not financially motivated, but rather wanted to be in a better administrative environment where her career can be properly managed. She definitely has a career prioritization, excuse me, where Ofili made a pragmatic post on X explaining that she aligns with a broader trend of Nigerian athletes that are trying to go to other countries for a better management of their careers as opposed to wasting their careers in Nigeria. So I hope people have a better understanding why people leave a society that is detrimental to their lives and their careers in pursuit of a better life somewhere else. It's just logical. It's common sense. You're not going to waste your life in a place that is actively trying to help you waste it. If you have the opportunity, you would go somewhere else where you're appreciated. And that's just what it is. The second story we're going to be talking about or reacting to is a police officer that served with the Nigerian police for 35 years. And after 35 years, he retired. And let's listen to him share his story.
In 2023, October 1st. Since then, I did laugh. A retired superintendent of police I retired from the Nigerian police in 2023, October 1st. Since then, nothing has been paid to me. Just 2 weeks back, they called me that they are going to pay me 3 million naira. What for? They say that is my pension. Lo and behold, the 3 million naira is not just all the whole pension. That 1 million naira is my arrears for the time, from the time I retired to date. Then 2 million naira is my entitlement. I cannot serve this country for good 35 years and being paid 2 million naira. The devil is a liar. Please, the IG, let the IG hear this. I was a superintendent of police before retirement. Even if your brother happens to be a police superintendent of police today and he is being asked to take 2 million naira home as a retirement benefit, ask yourself if it will be well. I am not collecting that money. I am not going to collect that money. Let my service be in vain. I don't give a shit. I don't have money. And 2 million naira will not solve or make me being a rich man. It will never. I'm not rich. And because of, I will not, no. Wasted all my years thinking that I'll take something home after retirement. All the police will do is to give me 2 million naira. What a shame. And I said, I serve my father's land. I serve my country wholeheartedly. Then my benefit will be 2 million naira. Please, I want the whole world to hear this. ₦2 million a superintendent of police. I want the federal government to do something about this too. If the federal government will not take action, on my own side, I'll fight my battle the way, by myself. I'll fight it the way to see if I'll fight it my own way. No problem. But let the federal government do something. How can I serve the Nigerian police? I dedicate my life, I dedicate determination, everything to serve this country. 35 years coming down home. You are giving me 2 million naira. What for? What for? What for? Come on. You will learn. You will learn it the hard way. Please.
Listen, my reaction to that is it had some emotional, it had some emotions to it, in the sense that the man is obviously frustrated, having served for 35 years and retired, only to be paid 2 million naira. 2 million naira is the equivalent of about $1,200. So for 35 years of service, even rising to the rank of superintendent, your gratuity is $1,200. Obviously, absolutely ridiculous, even within the Nigerian context, because some people might be thinking that if you convert $1,200 to naira, it goes a long way. No, 2 million naira doesn't go a long way in Nigeria. It's very, very small. It's probably enough to maybe buy you. Okay, let me put this in context. A bag of rice is over 100,000 naira. So you can only buy 12 bags of rice with 2 million naira. You see what I'm saying, right? So it doesn't make sense. But that's what the Nigerian system offers people, the police, and it's a good learning opportunity for the police officers too. For so long, Nigeria has oppressed its people, its officials, its workers. Well, not its officials. The officials are the ones that do the oppression. But Nigeria as an entity only allows oppressors to get into the administration positions. And those oppressors oppress the people, including the security forces, police, and soldiers. What's crazy is that when the regular civilians go out there to protest for a good country, for a better country, the people that are used to crush the civilians, to kill them, to kidnap them, to stop them from protesting by killing them are the police and the soldiers. And then the same police and soldiers that are used to oppress their fellow oppressed citizens are now retiring and complaining about not being paid enough for their years of oppressing their fellow citizens. Evil begets evil. We keep on destroying one another because of our short sightedness. And now it already sounds like I'm judging this man like he was one of the police officers that were oppressing Nigerians. Listen, I don't know who this man is personally, but it's safe for me to conclude that an average Nigerian policeman is an oppressor. Not because some of these guys are not good human beings, but once you get into such position, such authority, you have to conform into their ways of doing things. And that includes oppressing your fellow citizens. It's the same way a lot of these politicians, some of these guys were actually decent human beings. But once they got into positions of authority, they were forced, I wouldn't say forced, they forced themselves to conform to the ways of the politicians, which is a way of oppression. And the main reason is the incentive that comes with it. If you have so much integrity and you decide to stand away, you don't want to join the oppressors, you want to be a upstanding person, you will suffer a lot of consequences. That comes with the integrity that you have. The price that you pay for being a man of integrity is you're going to be an outcast within those spaces. So that's why, for someone like me, it's easy to come to a conclusion that this police officer was most definitely an oppressor. And how ironic is it that the same social media that the Nigerian politicians have been trying to crush, because it's the most important avenue for the victims of Nigeria to express themselves to the rest of the world. So the politicians are trying to crumble that avenue so that the people have nowhere to let out their voices. This same social media as a tool has become the only avenue for the victims of Nigeria to express themselves, including police officers that have served for 35 years. The man said, I served with all my heart for 35 years. Honestly, guys, I don't want to make too many disparaging comments towards this man because I don't know who he is. But I don't think Nigerian police officers serve. I don't think anybody in the Nigerian police force or military or DSS serves from the bottom of their hearts. They serve only for their financial gains. And I'm pretty sure that this man has already made so much money because, as a police officer, especially when you get to the top, you get paid a lot of money, not from your salary, but from the corruption because the police are constantly taking illegal taxes from the people in the forms of bribery, bribes, and a lot of that money goes to the high ranking police officers. So these guys have made a lot of money during their careers. But it's still a teaching opportunity. It's a learning opportunity, especially for the guys that are currently in the police. You need to understand that while you're going on your day to day oppressing your fellow citizens for these corrupt politicians, you are being used as a security guard by so called VIPs, all these corrupt pastors, corrupt celebrities, corrupt politicians. You are used as a private bodyguard, and your job is to oppress your fellow poor citizens for those VIPs. At the end of the day, this might be your future. Yeah, this might be your future. And that's my reaction to this. But let me know what you think in the comment section. If you like this type of content, click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching the African Wahala. Peace.